The 50-50 split. Yeah, right. Is it effective? I mean, really effective? The evolution of the 50-50 relationship is interesting. I mean, historically, couples base their roles on societal norms, but both partners often share responsibilities and collaborate on home fronts, aiming for equal and mutual respect. The question is, does it really work? Well, the nuance of 50-50 relationships is a topic I keep hearing about, and honestly, I'm not feeling it. I think utilizing this strategy may lead to very unhealthy and unhappy relationships because the reality is it's not 50-50. So fellas, I get it. It sounds good when your woman wants to share your financial responsibilities, split everything down the middle. This includes financial responsibilities, household chores, parent duties, and other roles in the relationship. But honestly, I know far too many reasons why this does not work. So guys, today I am breaking down 4 reasons not to 50-50 with her. Well, immediately when we think about going 50-50, most people think about our finances. So for example, when we think about our housing, our mortgage, our rent, let's say it's like $3,000. We have $1,500 for each person. So guys, you're making $60,000 and she's making $100,000. The sacrifice is not going to be the same. This will affect your pocket more than hers. In this case, she's basically making double your income. So number 1, let's start with financial differences, basically our income differences. So when one partner earns a significantly bigger amount of money than the other, this leads to imbalances in spending, our savings, and it creates a financial stress. So let's say instead of the 50-50, you give 10% of your income and she gives 10% of hers for housing costs, but the percentages of money in the pot still won't be the same. And this is where it gets really sticky. This is the reason why the 50-50 is not realistic and leads to misconception, unfairness most of the time. In addition, if one person has more debt, it can affect their joint financial goals and create a lot of tension. This also includes financial pressure. So men, you may feel the pressure to maintain a higher standard of living that matches her income. This can be something that potentially leads to overspending and financial strain. This goes into number 2, debt and liability. So let's talk about shared debt, shared income. So anytime we're entering joint financial commitments like mortgages or loans, this can be risky if your partner cannot meet that 50% contribution. This leaves a responsibility for the entire debt on the other person. This could also include a risk of credit, lines of credit, and credit cards, which could definitely impact your credit score if your partner defaults on the payment. Number 3, retirement and savings. So men, you may end up saving more money in retirement than her. And if she can contribute more or you can contribute more, then that is not a 50-50 split because it can lead to potential resentment. Unfortunately, this could lead to future disputes about financial contributions for the future. So let's talk about different savings habits. If one partner prioritizes saving and the other doesn't, then this can definitely affect a couple's overall financial stability and long-term goals. You can't save what you don't have. So we really need to define the 50-50. And number 4, of course, the number 1 that I always talk about is power dynamics. This one definitely includes that financial control. A strict 50-50 split can sometimes mask some underlying power dynamics about which partner controls and influences all of the financial decisions. So men, this can definitely lead to resentment. If you were thinking that you are contributing more, some areas that aren't equally, equal to money, like emotional support, household management, and other roles and responsibilities that you're splitting 50-50, the financial aspect with this gets really confused with these other roles, and this will definitely lead to a very unhappy home. So if you decide to go back and forth with the 50-50 split, let's remember that there are certain things that we have to put in place. Of course, that would be open communication and having regular discussions concerning our finances, including our income, expenses, our debt, our financial goals, and just making sure that you are both under the same thought process when it comes to this, making sure that you agree to financial planning. So, the other thing that you need to look at, which involves risk, is having joint accounts. If anything should happen with any accounts that has both of your name on it, so you want to make sure that you have separate and joint accounts, maintaining a mix so that you have your own individual and then you have your shared expenses, ensuring financial independence that's covering both of your needs. Again, I am not a proponent of the 50-50 split. I just don't think that it's realistic and everything can be split down the middle, but I do think that it's possible in sharing in the relationship that is for your relationship. Let's not box ourselves in and try to manage each other's roles and responsibilities in that way, just based off of what seems trendy or what you see other people doing, because you never really know what other people are doing because you really can't see behind their curtain. Lastly, if both people are bringing 100% to the table, 100% of who they are, 100% of their best selves, 100% of how they want to show up in the relationship, then you know what each person is bringing. If you're mature enough to discover that there is no 50% of anything, you both have something that you should have that the other person complements, then the 50-50 in finances does not even exist. Where one person lacks, the other person complements. And, basically communicating that you both have understanding of who you are, of how you show up in your relationship, then there is really no debate about the 50-50. You're bringing your whole self, not half of you. So let's get into the credit gem of the day. When paying down debt, this requires your discipline and planning and a mix of strategies. We're talking about your credit card debt. You have to look at your financial situation and figure out which is the best method for you that you can stay committed to, and how these methods can affect with eliminating the debt that you have. So number one would be a balance transfer. So transferring your credit card debt to a lower percentage rate of another credit card that has like a zero introductory APR, which allows you to have less interest with paying off the principal more quickly. You can also give your credit card companies a call and ask them if they would lower your annual percentage rate. Even if it's 0.2%, it's still better than what you're paying on your cards that you're actively using. Another tip would be the avalanche method. So what you're doing is you're focusing on paying debt that has the highest interest rates first. That way you're minimizing the amount of interest, which is more cost effective because you will be paying less over time by doing that. The first thing you need to do is list all of your debts from highest to low in the order of your APR and your highest interest. Once you do that, you need to figure out if you have some extra funds to pay over the amount that you normally pay, which would be your minimum payment to your credit cards. Once you pay the first one off, then you go to the second one, and so on. You move to the next highest interest rate and just rinse and repeat. Thank you for spending time with me today while we dive into the realities of the 50-50 split. Remember to ring that bell at the bottom, subscribe, like, comment, and share with 5 people. And never forget, you are your greatest asset. You are your greatest value. Take care.